Good afternoon, peep and peepettes. Well, considering we were supposed to be dropping to really low temperatures, we had one cool day yesterday, and it's back to frigging boiling up here in the northeast of Lincolnshire, in God's own county. I know a few will argue that it's Yorkshire or Geordieland, but Lincolnshire's for me, northeast links. Anyway, I hope everybody's well, I hope everybody's good, and I hope that whatever the weather is where you are, is treating you well, and if it is really warm or anything, I hope you're staying safe. And as always, a big thank you to people who like, subs, comments, all that jazz. It helps. It gives me a little bit of motivation. And like I said before, all my stuff that I say is just my opinion. It's what I see, what I read, what I hear. Comes out of my head. Otherwise, it'd be a shitstorm of a blowout at some point. So it gives me a reason. Anyway, the murder of Anne Widdecombe, a couple of days back now, a few days back now. Originally, the police, well, first of all, they said she was found dead. Then they gave out a complex statement that says she was found with serious injuries. They says it's not terrorism, it's not politically right. We don't know if it's terrorism, we don't know if it's politically motivated, but we don't know anything about it. So there's very, as a few people have said, very confusing statements from the old bill. So they originally arrested a 26-year-old who they immediately described as a white British male, which at the time was fair odd because, you know, how many violent crimes, murders, attacks, rapes, whatever, do they come out with the nationality and the colour of the suspected perpetrator of that crime? Not many. Anyway, he was then released. I think yesterday morning he was released, and the police had said he's no longer part of their investigation, he's got nothing to do with it. And then they says, so we still have a man on going on. Well, it seems today they've arrested a 28-year-old man. Well, I'll get to that point in a minute. A 28-year-old in Yorkshire. And immediately, it's a 28-year-old white British male. Again, emphasising the fact that he's white and he's British. But no other details. Now, I know the police on an open case like this can't necessarily always give the person's name, all right, for whatever reason it's written into their law. They can't give his name. But that's two people they've arrested, and immediately they stated it was a white British male. I think the only other time something like that was mentioned was that cold-blooded psycho up in Southport who took the lives of 3 innocent angels and injured 10 other people seriously, and they came out and said he was a Welsh choir boy. Did he look like a Welsh choir boy to you? So, as I often state, again, these are my opinions, these are my intakes on situations. Nothing's necessarily factual, but it's what I think, and like I say, it's what I see. And I'm kind of lucky because I've got a couple of issues. I tend to see things not necessarily black and white. I get to be devil's advocate sometimes, and it's quite enjoyable. It's confusing, but it's enjoyable. But what I also say is, if the police are giving you something, or the news is giving you something specifically, if they're trying to point you in a direction of what you should be believing and what you should be knowing, it's probably important to look at what they're not telling you. And in this case, I think for the police and the news reports to instinctively state that whoever he's got, whether it was a 26-year-old yesterday or day before yesterday, or the 28-year-old today, for them to instinctively state that it was a white British male, I think there's an issue. I have a probably a doubting suspicion that his name is going to be Dave Smith or Wayne Johnson or whatever, any particularly English or British name. I have a feeling it's not. I just think they're telling you it's a white British male, to hide something under the carpet. And these are the things that I often say we should be looking at instead. Well, there you go. Like I say, that's just me. And I had to get this video out because it was in my head, since I saw earlier that they'd arrested him. It was in my head that something weren't quite right with the way it was being worded. But as always, we can't speculate. We just have to wait and see what information they give us, and then we have to work out what information they're hiding from us. So yeah, so as always, enjoy your Sunday. Soon be fucking Monday. Back to normal. Enjoy your Sunday, enjoy the weather, whatever you're doing. Stay safe, look after your friends, look after your elders, your relatives, your neighbours, people around you. So I just a couple of local idiots arguing at the bus stop. Look after everybody around you, look after your friends, your family, people close, people near, people far, anybody in town that you want to talk to, say hello. And as always, look after yourself. You can't pour from an empty cup, so take care of yourself and make sure you refill your energy and your emotions yourself from time to time. Stay safe, stay proud, stay loud. Peace.